Hello and welcome to the news on NTA News 24. My name is Tessie Omeri. Let's begin with headlines. Edo State Governor visits Kano with promises of justice for travelers, hunters.
So far arrested about 14 people in connection of the killings of these people.
Security alert. Kogi State government ban rallies and fishing activities in parts of the state. Haiti recovers $4.85 billion owed federal government by oil and gas companies. Incessant tanker accidents, stakeholders gear to put a stop to horrific tragedies in Nigeria.
Well, of course, the condition of the driver and the vehicle itself.
Those were the headlines, now details. Edo State Governor Monday Okpebholo has assured that justice will prevail in the tragic case involving the recent killing of travelers, hunters en route to Kano. The governor made the promise during a sympathy visit to his counterpart, Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf, at the Kano Government House. Abdullahi Mustafa completes the report.
For Governors Monday Okpebholo and Abba Kabir Yusuf, this moment stands as both a gesture of compassion and solidarity. Governor Okpebholo's presence spoke volumes of solidarity and sympathy, offering a shared sense of grief.
We have so far arrested about 14 people in connection of the killings of these people. The Inspector General have directed the DIG, CID at the force headquarters, Abuja, to take over the investigation.
So the good people of the state, the families of the deceased, and all of us appreciate your concern.
Governor Yusuf also expressed gratitude for President Tinubu's swift and empathetic response. Leaders from both the Hausa and Edo communities in the states pledged their loyalty and cooperation with the governments of their host states. As at the time of this report, the two governors are on their way from Torankawa village in Bunkuro local government area, where they condoled with the bereaved families. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
Meanwhile, Edo State Governor Senator Monday Okpebholo has assured Muslims in the state that his administration will continue to promote policies and programs that will foster peace and unity among people of all faiths. The governor made the remarks when some Muslim faithful paid him Salah homage at the government house, where he promised justice for the families of victims of Uromi attack. Goodluck Inani has more.
The governor, represented by his deputy Dennis Idahosa, explained that as a government that promotes peace, he has given marching orders to security agencies to identify and arrest perpetrators of the killings of travelers in Uromi a few days ago. He urged the Muslim faithful in the state to continue to pray for peace and development, assuring that Edo will continue to be a fertile ground for investors and investment to thrive.
Let's continue to tolerate one another, and let there be peace and harmony in Edo State. But I also want to condemn strongly the actions of our brothers in Uromi. The state governor have instructed all the security agencies to ensure that those that were involved are brought to book. And let me also beg that you will continue to pray for those that lost their life in that process.
Earlier in his Salah message, the chief imam of the Benin Central Mosque, Alhaji Abdul Fattah Nabulele, commended this pragmatic approach Governor Monday Okpebholo has brought to governance and the swift response he gave to the Uromi incident to ensure it did not escalate. He also commended the governor for the good relationship he has maintained with the Muslim community.
One of your greatest achievements in the last 140 days in government, which the people have acknowledged, is the political will which you have enacted in the business of governance.
The Salah homage had top government officials, including the Secretary to the State Government, Musa Hilo, Chief of Staff to the Governor, Malam Gani Audu, among others. In Benin, Goodluck Inaeni, NT News.
Kogi State government has placed a total ban on all forms of rallies or public gatherings that have the potential to disrupt public peace. Individuals or groups entering the state with a convoy of security personnel must obtain prior clearance from State Commander of the deploying services. As a statement by the State Commissioner for Information and Communications, Kingsley Femi Fanwo, states that this follows security reports on flashes of disturbances raising tension in the state and threatening breach public peace and security. The statement says in Kogi Central Intelligence report indicates that some people are planning to stage some rallies which may lead to wanton destruction and breakdown of law and order, as certain individuals are plotting to infiltrate the gathering to foment trouble. Also in Kogi West, fishing activities have resulted in serious crisis, leading to the loss of 2 lives. Therefore, the state government has also suspended all fishing activities in the affected Kogi local government area until peace is completely restored. In Angba local government area, specifically in Ejema district, a communal clash between Ika Odele and Ika Ochala is threatening the peace of Kogi's east. The state government has deployed security to also calm the situation to avert further loss of lives and property. As part of measures to curb all forms of crisis, the state governor summoned a meeting with leadership of Kogi State Traditional Council, led by the Ata of Igala, to agree on the modalities for ensuring peace and security in the state. Governor Ododo also directed all the local government chairmen to take charge of security in their domains and urged community leaders to talk to their people on the need to sustain the relative peace in the state and back the state government to continue to deliver democracy dividends to the great people of Kogi State. The Renewed Hope Agric Support Initiative of the wife of the President, Oluremi Tinubu, is gravitating towards the intended objective of raising citizens who can cultivate beyond what to eat to commercial purposes. Caleb Obona reports that the second edition of the program in Ebonyi State witnessed the empowerment of about 400 farmers.
The second edition of the Renewed Hope Agric Support Initiative of the wife of the President, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, championed by the wife of Ebonyi State Governor Uzamaka Nwifuru in the state, through her Bewo Foundation with the aim of engendering food security, economic growth and tackling unemployment, is on course, following the empowerment of 100 women, 300 young farmers and 30 youths on sustainable farm practices, financial literacy, and marketing strategies.
The Renewed Hope Agricultural Support Program represents a beacon of hope for women in agriculture and youths looking for empowerment within the agricultural sector.
To enhance their livelihood and contribute to the food security in Nigeria.
We'll give them money and seedlings and inputs you can see packed here to start their own farms.
The initiative, which participants insist will further enhance Ebonyi State position in food sufficiency, promote agro-business and improve the economy, centered on rice and cassava best practices, bag yam technology, backyard garden farming, among others.
I am no longer going to be limited by scarcity of land to farm. So that is the key thing I've taken away from here.
Before, I don't even know that they used to cultivate yam in a bag, and it used to save time. It saves stress.
The Agric Support Program of the wife of the President, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, with lecture series on the most effective ways of farming, designed not only to end hunger and food insecurity, but to raise young farmers who focus on aggressive farming towards food sufficiency. In Abakaliki, Caleb Obonna, NTA News.
Still talking agriculture, irrigation projects are being earmarked and work ongoing in the 36 states and the FCT to boost agricultural activities and ensure food security in Nigeria. Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Professor Joseph Telumun Usev, stated this while inspecting 3 ongoing projects on the 3,000 hectares of irrigable land in Makurdi, the Benue State capital. Charles Abba has more.
The 3 ongoing projects being inspected by the Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, Professor Joseph Telumun Usev, are irrigation channels, which is said is 90% completed, drip irrigation, 67% completed, and study and design of expansion of the irrigable land.
We have marked 1,200 for the one that is ongoing, the one that is both on study and design, and the one that are constructing the channels. Then the remaining 1,800, we have marked that one for the program that is coming up, which is called the Sustainable Power and Irrigation for Nigeria.
He explained that crops that are ready for harvest on the farm are maize, garden eggs, pepper, and beans.
When there's no water, no crop. When there's no crop, no food. When there's no food, no life. And when there's no life, no nation.
The minister indicated that among the several dams being embarked on, the Otuko Multipurpose Dam is being rehabilitated with plans to incorporate hydropower components to solve its water problem and others. Professor Usev also flagged off a feeder road from Jingi to Kume in Buruku local government area and inaugurated a 1.5-kilometer access road for Ugondo community in Makurdi.
That will help our farmers to go to farms, to bring their inputs both to their homes for consumption and take it to market for sales.
He assured Nigerians that the projects which are being executed are to deliver on the promises of Mr. President to turn around the fortunes of the citizens. In Makurdi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
Amid government's search for extra revenue sources to fund budgets, the Nigeria Extractive Industries Transparency Initiative (NETI) has announced the recovery of $4.85 billion United States dollars from unpaid liabilities owed to the federal government by oil and gas companies. Benny Adams reports that NETI is set to publish the latest edition of its industry audit report in a bid to doing more in blocking leakages for economic growth.
I bring you Salah.
Briefing the media in Abuja, the Executive Secretary of NETI, Dr. Oji Ogbonnaya Oji, says the recovery is part of the total $8.26 billion US dollars identified in NETI's 2021 oil and gas audit report. Despite this progress, Oji noted that unresolved financial liabilities remain a major concern, with $6.175 billion US dollars and 66.378 billion naira in liabilities disclosed in the 2023 industry reports. He says if converted to naira, the liabilities would amount to 9.33 trillion naira, exceeding the federal government's total budget for health, education, agriculture, and food security, and that the liabilities could cover approximately 72% of the federal government's budget deficit for 2025. To this end, NETI is urging relevant government agencies, including the Federal Inland Revenue Service and the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, to take stronger enforcement actions against defaulters and adopt more stringent measures to prevent future revenue leakages.
NETI recognizes the urgent need for transparency in these transactions to protect national interests, national assets, host community concerns, address host community concerns, and sustain revenue flows.
Oji adds that while the push is on, challenges of institutional constraints, funding limitations, and resistance to change are visible. Hence, the need for collective support from stakeholders to ensure that Nigeria's oil, gas, and mining revenues are managed prudently for the benefit of all citizens.
The job to be done cannot be done by NETI alone. We need the industry, we need government, we need the civil society, and we need the media to forge ahead So observing governance issues that are either not done or being done or ignored in the sector, NITI cannot be held completely liable. We are all in this together.
In addition to its recovery efforts, NITI plans to broaden its industry-wide reports to include dedicated sections on divestment, forward sales of oil and gas assets, and environmental remediation. This move, he says, aims to strengthen transparency and accountability in the extractive sector. In Abuja, Benny Adams, NTA News.
You're watching the news at 10 on NTA News 24. We have more reports when we return. Do stay with us.
I am Oluremi Tinubu, the global and national Stop TB champion. Many people have asked why I've chosen to champion the fight against a disease like tuberculosis. My reason stems from a deep personal experience. I once had a friend who unfortunately fell ill and concealed the nature of his sickness until it was too late. Eventually, after he passed, we discovered he had tuberculosis. Sadly, due to the stigma and discrimination surrounding the disease, he would not speak up or seek for help. His death was a painful reminder that we could have intervened and saved a life if only we had known earlier. Tuberculosis is an airborne disease that primarily affects the lungs, but can also impact other parts of the body. Being airborne means anyone, regardless of their social economic status, can contract it. In Nigeria, 1 person dies of TB-related illness every 7 minutes, amounting to 206 deaths every day. Globally, 1 person succumbs to TB every 25 seconds, which is a staggering 3,456 lives lost daily. These deaths are entirely preventable because TB is curable if detected and treated early. If you or someone you know has been coughing for 2 weeks or more, coughing up blood, experiencing night sweats, or losing weight drastically, it might be TB. Please visit the nearest government hospital or primary healthcare center for proper diagnosis and treatment. TB treatment is free in all government and some private health facilities. Let us also remember not to stigmatize or discriminate against TB patients or those who have been treated for TB. Individuals who have been cured of TB cannot infect others. I call on all stakeholders, especially the private sector, to join us in the fight to end TB in Nigeria. Together, we can make a difference. Remember, TB anywhere is TB everywhere. End TB by 2030. Yes, we can.
Thank you for staying tuned. Nigeria has been plagued by a series of devastating accidents involving heavy-duty petroleum tanker trucks, which has led to a significant loss of lives and property, with the devastation becoming a recurring trend, leaving behind gory tales of death, tragedy and trauma. Are stakeholders ready to take action to stop these horrific tragedies in Nigeria? Well, Lydia Sampson finds out.
Petrol tanker accidents in Nigeria are often attributed to a combination of factors. Some of these factors include incompetent and reckless driving, driving under the influence, overloading, and many others. Brake failure due to poorly maintained vehicle is another additional cause. Poor road conditions, such as potholes and ditches, also allegedly contribute significantly to these incidents. The dangerous practice of skipping fuel from crashed tankers has led to numerous fatalities. Key players insist that addressing these issues are crucial to reducing the alarming rate of tanker accidents in Nigeria.
There are a lot of factors leading to all these fire incidences, trucks explosion, and one of the many reasons is the condition of the roads. Well, of course, the condition of the driver and the vehicle itself, as well as the climatic condition also, they also play a very significant factor. At the same time, also the behavior of the general public in case of accident, because there is the tendency most times when a vehicle falls for whatever reason, even before the tank opens, they force it open and they start scooping.
In response, the Nigerian government has implemented measures to mitigate these accidents. The Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NMDPIE, has banned 60,000-litre fuel tankers from operating on Nigerian roads from 4th March 2025. Additionally, proposals to restrict heavy-duty vehicle movements to nighttime have been introduced in the Senate. These efforts aim to reduce the alarming rate of tanker-related incidents and ensure safer transportation of petroleum products across the country.
We found that there had been a drastic reduction on fatalities on the road because, A, we've enforced strongly safe-to-load initiatives at the depot. If a truck is not safe, given the parameters provided by the road safety, we will not allow it to load petroleum products. Secondly, as you know, we have banned trucks loading in excess of 60,000 litres, and we have been enforcing that strictly since 1st March.
Adhering to the 60,000-litre petroleum tanker ban stipulation on Nigerian roads is seen as crucial for enhancing road safety and preventing future tragedies. Experts acknowledge that the measures aims to mitigate truck-in-transit incidents that have led to significant loss of lives and property.
So we've called on all our members to ensure that drivers are tested and, before they get into loading, and they are also tested, the vehicles tested and inspected after loading before they fly road. And as much as possible, they should abide by the requisite speed limiting, limits approved.
Our appeal to government is that some of they should take a census of those who has above 60,000 litres and see how they can be able to buffer or cushion the effects of reconstruction from 60,000 to 55,000, 50,000, 45,000 litres.
Whenever these horrific incidents occurs, it is the responsibility of all concerned parties to ensure that all relevant authorities are involved in ensuring that the perpetrators are treated appropriately for their actions. Unfortunately, the overwhelming mayhem affects everyone involved, from the tanker drivers, who most often lose their lives, or if they survive, lose their livelihoods.
We may have to come up with a task force that will really stop these people from moving towards all these highly populated areas during the peak hours of the day, so that they can move later when you know that the traffic is less.
Effective regulation and infrastructure improvement, they believe, are essential to mitigate these avoidable risks. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
And from safety, let's talk health. Hundreds of people in Ilesha, Osun State, have benefited from a free eye care and vision screening program. The program was organized by a former High Commissioner to Australia, Ambassador Ayo Olukami. Femi Aferogun reports.
Heatherly, who had lived with blurry vision for years, to young students struggling to read their books, Ambassador Ayo Olukani provided comprehensive eye tests, prescription glasses, and consultation with specialists for free for these people. The program, initially targeted to cater for 70 people to celebrate former High Commissioner to Australia, Ambassador Ayo Olukani, at 70, was later made to accommodate more than 100 people from Ilesha.
A lot of people are losing their eyesight due to poverty, ignorance, and carelessness. Even if it is 10 people, you are able to identify and that they can do something in terms of early detection. So that was what inspired it, going back to my roots, to do a good cause, a good thing for the people.
Families and beneficiaries praised Ambassador Olukani's gesture towards his people.
This program is really very nice, especially for the old people.
This is fantastic. It's a very laudable project.
Be a culture we should adopt instead of just eating and drinking when you are celebrating.
diseases are all over the place. So we don't have to wait for the government to do all these things. It's something we can do as an individual to impact life and to touch lives.
Olukani served as a diplomat in Nigeria's foreign service for 35 years. He was also the former Director General at Nigerian Association of Chambers of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture, NASIMA. From Ilesha in Osho State, Femi Afariogun, NTA News.
And that concludes the news at 10 on NTA News 24. Thank you for watching.